So, if you have seen one of my previous mail videos, I showed off this version of an umbrella release of the Retro Sci-Fi Double Feature Volume 1, which comes with Tarantula and The Incredible Shrinking Man, two Jack Arnold films. Two really good Jack Arnold films, if not his best, but personally I think Creature from Black Lagoon is his best. But hell, they were in like a 5-year period. What a good 5-year period, including Revenge of the Creature and He Came from Outer Space. So, there's a bunch of these ones that Umbrella has released, and I'm not big on these kinds of releases. For example, I presently have all 4 releases, including Volume 2 with the Monolith Monsters and the Deadly Mantis, Volume 3 with the Mole People and the Land Unknown, and Volume 6 with Colossus the Forbin Project and Journey to the Far Side of the Sun. So, I didn't have any of these, so hey, fuck it, they're all double features, all on one disc. In terms of packaging, you get one disc. It has the artwork. The reversible artwork is the exact same as the front, it just doesn't have the PG sticker, and this is Region B exclusive, but it does tell you some specifics. Obviously, on the back it does detail what's in Tarantula and what's in The Incredible Shrinking Man, to the point of detailing that they both have, it does have special features. It says, do the Stomp trailer reel and original theatrical trailers. I don't know what do the Stomp trailer reel is. If that's like meant to be like a gag reel, or not like a gag reel, but like a joke reel because they've got giant creatures and whatever. I'd imagine so, just like as the fun little gimmick. Basically, when you put it on, other than having the Umbrella logo, it just jumps into one screen with the 2 posters on either side. It has, Tarantula, then Incredible Shrinking Man, then special features. I think it says trailers, but it might just say special features. But nothing else, no music, no nothing else. So very basic. They're both presented in widescreen. In this case, it's 1.8:1, which is just slight black bars on the top and bottom. I think it's more evident on Incredible Shrinking Man, but not as much so on Tarantula. They both have 2.0 DTS HD master audio, so just mono, purely front heavy, not much for the sides and back, but, basically just front. Again, this is where my TV is, so yeah, it sounds fine. They both sound perfectly fine. Music sounded great. There was good clarity, no ticks or hisses or anything. The audio sounded great. No subtitles, unfortunately, and the runtime for the first film is 80 minutes and 81 for the second, and they're both in black and white. So, there's a big thing about me collecting stuff like this. I don't like collecting packs that are like this, where it has multiple films in one. If it's on 2 different discs, then maybe, sure, but for the most part, I don't really like it. But this time I think it works, and there's a real reason to say that, because I have comparative products. So here I have the Arrow release of The Incredible Shrinking Man with 101's Tarantula. 101's Tarantula comes with a poster, which is literally the only good thing about it. And to be fair, it's a pretty nice poster. So, I kind of would like to keep that, despite the fact that I want to sell the set. I say set, but there's not really much to it. From the get-go, you've got poster artwork here. It is a dual format edition. It's got some nice art. It's got a good spine to it. Everything's pretty nice. Disc art for the Blu-ray and DVD. And it does have the exact same disc art, and it does have reversible artwork as well. It's a nice package, but it's not a great transfer. Now, this is kind of a weird thing to say, because, and I'm going to talk about the Tarantula one first, because that was the one I actually watched tonight. I'd never seen it before. I've seen The Incredible Shrinking Man before, but the main reason I wanted to get the Umbrella Duo was I didn't. I have all the rest of the sets. I bought them all because because I already had these 2 films separately. I didn't need to get the Volume 1 of the Retro Sci-Fi pack. But my friend owed me money, so we figured, fuck it. Usually when he owes me money from, buying movie tickets and stuff that I'll pay for, and then he'll pay me back later. Sometimes he doesn't have the money at the time. It doesn't really matter, but he pays me back eventually. Usually it's through buying movies at JB Hi-Fi. And so, in this case, it worked out. He bought me the double pack because I figured, look, I'm technically still buying it because it's the money that he owes me, but at the same time, I don't really mind, you know? It works out. So, I bought that, and so far I think it's a pretty worthwhile purchase, outside of being able to line up all the spines and whatever under the retro Sci-Fi banner, which is nice, but where the fuck goes volume 4 and 5? I don't know. The main reason I didn't want to get it was because I had the other two releases. So, of course, I took it out of its shrink wrap, I chucked in the film. Beautiful film. Absolutely loved it. I love these Jack Arnold films. And then I thought, okay, let's check out The Incredible Shrinking Man. And I looked at it, and it was fine. It wasn't the best presentation. It definitely could use a better remaster, but for the most part, it looked okay. Now, I will mention this, of course, for the note. Actually, I'll get into Incredible Shrinking Man later. Let's just talk about Tarantula. I'm getting ahead of myself. This didn't look great. And that's weird to say because I would have expected them to be the exact same transfer, but they weren't. At least, this one has more dirt and scratches to it, you know, a lot more hairs, a lot more obvious just lines and stuff on the screen. It didn't have as much clarity, as much sharpness, and I'm pretty sure the reason why that is because the 101 print is not the same, for one thing, but also I'm pretty sure this version is from Scream Factory. At least Tarantula is. This is where the burden comes in, because this Tarantula version, not great. I'm not a big fan of 101 films. I have their Black Christmas label. I don't like the version of the film that they've put out, but it's the only version I have, and I don't know if I'm going to get the Scream Factory. I probably should, realistically. I just got Black Christmas because it was like less than $20 on Zavvi. This was like $18, so I was like, fuck yeah, Tarantula, that's a banger. Probably, I don't know. Let's figure it out. I love old B-movie sci-fis and whatever. And to be fair, it's a really good package. So in terms of packaging, 101 Films definitely has the plus. I love the kind of case that they have. I love the poster. I love the artwork. It's great. The lack of special features is atrocious. Really, really atrocious. I mean, hell, this has more special features and this has worse artwork. I mean, I'm not exactly huge of them doing this, but at the same time, it does get the point across. And it's decently iconic for the capture. This one, I think, works a lot better because it's the man versus the cat. This one is a giant tarantula grabbing a woman, playing in the background, a guy with a gun. I don't really like the guy with the gun. That's kind of weird. Why is there a guy with a gun? The other one doesn't have that. It has two people just running away, but I guess scared woman and I'm brave white man. I will save you with gun. They try shooting the creature. It doesn't work. They have to use napalm to burn it to death. Anyway, so Umbrella gets the plus because it is definitely the Scream Factory release. Obviously not the special features, but definitely the transfer. And Umbrella occasionally does that, where they will hire out a transfer from another company, usually an American one, much like they did with The Blob and Bottle Rocket, the Wes Anderson's first feature. They're the Criterion scans, to the point that it even has the Criterion logo at the start. It's completely the same. That's why I haven't gotten the Criterion of either film, because I already have them. Obviously, I don't have the special features and the cooler packaging and whatever, but to be fair, my version of The Blob actually comes with both films, the 50s film and the 80s film, and that's a limited edition to like 3,000 units that only has, you know, both of these two films, so I think I won there. But still, in this case, if you're in Australia and you want to get a version of the film, or if you're somewhere in the world, Scream Factory or this. This is a perfectly decent transfer. It looks nice. It sounds great. Special features severely lacking outside of a trailer and do the stomp trailer reel. I don't know what that means. But I didn't look at it. I don't think I want to. But at the same time, if you're going to get a release, I'd probably go with the Scream Factory. They probably have some special features on it that is better, but I don't really know. I didn't look too much into it. I mostly cared for this transfer, given I don't have the special features. So let's talk about The Incredible Shrinking Man. I really like The Incredible Shrinking Man. And of course, I have this version. The good news is they're the exact same transfer. Exact same. The bad news is the transfer actually doesn't look fantastic. surprisingly, the Tarantula transfer looks better, which is saying a lot. This one has a lot more fuzz and just a lot more just noise on the screen, which isn't great. It still looks decent. It's completely watchable. It's not terrible. But even a lot of people, when it first came out, reviewed it saying, I mean, of all things, Arrow Video really could have picked up the slack and done a lot better of a job here. And they definitely could have. Now, of course, this was released before the Criterion, which really, really sucks, because they probably would have ported over the Criterion scan for this release, which is a 4K scan. Apparently, The Incredible Shrinking Man by Criterion looks incredible. And for the benefit of the doubt, this has the exact same special features that the Criterion has, except this one just lacks a few. So they've got some new special features like commentaries and stuff on the Criterion. So clearly, if you're going to get this film, if you want to go Region B strictly in Australia, you're perfectly fine to go with this release. But if you want to go from Zavvi or like Amazon, you can buy this release. And this release also it's perfectly fine. Obviously, this one benefits by having special features. In this case, it has it does actually have subtitles as well, which is a good thing. Brand new audio commentary by Tim Lucas, Arturo on the Campus, Jack Arnold at Universal, an extended documentary about the early career of director Jack Arnold at Universal International Studios. There Is No Zero, Writing the Shrinking Man, an in-depth conversation with author Richard Christian Matheson about his father and the creation of the original Shrinking Man novel, plus a original Super 8 home cinema version, original theatrical trailer, teaser, and of course reversible artwork. And newly commissioned artwork by Sarah Deck. So this is the new artwork, which I really do like. The original artwork is quite classic. Even the disc art is quite unique. So it definitely has a nice quality to it. I'm not exactly huge on the kind of yellowy green color that they use, but of course the original artwork is quite classic. And at the same time, I kind of prefer the artwork on this, if I'm going to be completely fair. Like, him attacking the cat is a lot better, like him defending himself from the cat, I think works a lot better in this image, rather than this one here, where it's the cat through the wire. That's more accurate to the scene, definitely. But I do like this artwork. It's a bit, I don't exactly like the look of the guy, but it is accurate. And it looks pretty cool. It's a giant spider. But in reality, it's a normal sized spider. So, I guess overall, how do I compare the three? Don't bother with this. I personally wouldn't bother with getting any 101 film release. I think I ever will buy from them again. I don't like any of the transfers that I've seen, which really, really sucks, because I usually only get them because they're Region B, but I've got an all-region player and I can get Scream Factory. It's probably more expensive, but let's be honest, it's a better bang for my buck because it usually has a better transfer and special features. In a slimmer case, at least. Sometimes reversible artwork, usually. In this case, the 101 Films Edition only benefits from having a poster and good artwork. That's all it benefits from. Arrow Video's Incredible Shrinking Man. A decent purchase, but unfortunately now the Criterion has released a version, this is inadequate. The Criterion has a better scan, has better special features, and, well, just more special features realistically, because it ports the exact same special features over. But this is a decently fine copy to watch. So if you want to get a cheap and easy copy, even though I'm pretty sure I looked it up on Amazon and they were like $3 the difference between this and the Criterion, I'd go for the Criterion if you are okay to get Region A versions. And for Australian audiences and people who buy from Umbrella, is it worth getting the Retro Sci-Fi Volume 1? If you don't have any of these two films, yes, wholeheartedly worth getting. If you don't care for special features, sure, perfectly fine. If you just like to get a good classic sci-fi pack, it's perfectly fine. I'm not huge on getting 2 packs like this, like 2 films in 1 slot. It's not my jam. What title do you put it under? So luckily having the big banner, which they're doing a lot of recently at JB, they've got like classic horror movies, which is like they've got a triple feature of Frankenstein, like Bride of Frankenstein, Son, and Ghost of Frankenstein. They're doing like Humphrey Bogart, like, double feature, and they're doing a lot of double feature labels just so it's cheaper for them to make, which I can understand why they're doing that. And for sometimes it works, like they've got the same actor or same director, but same kind of idea, big creatures, small people kind of deal. Usually it works, you know. I don't think a lot of these kind of work to some degree by having... I mean, I guess the Monolith Monsters and the Deadly Mantis would probably work, but the Deadly Mantis is just another giant creature movie, whereas the Monolith Monsters is not a giant creature movie. Also, they've got different directors as well, so... Yeah, maybe it is a giant creature movie. I haven't seen them. I haven't seen these two yet, but still. The next one, of course, The Mole People in Land Unknown. The Mole People is one of those classic Universals that nobody really thinks of. It's a Universal monster, but... Again, because it's a 50s film, a lot of people don't think about it. It's the same as This Island Earth with the Metaluna Mutant, another Jack Arnold film. Land Unknown is just another classic, look, dinosaurs. So, yeah, it is what it is. And, of course, these two are sci-fi, at least. Like, solid, like, different future sci-fi. So, yeah, but, of course, this one is 1970 and 1969, so... This kind of stretches all the way to, like, it's not even really... I mean, it probably is. It's definitely retro sci-fi. I don't really think it's B-movie sci-fi. So this one's the odd one of the bunch, but I'd imagine that, given how that starts in the 50s, this is 56, 57, 57, and 57. I'd imagine most of these will initially start off in the 50s. Again, this is 55 and 57. So I'd imagine... Probably volume 4 and 5 will probably be either in the late 50s or in the 60s, given that this has jumped straight to the 70s, which is very, very weird. Or at least 1969, 1970. But as an overall, especially if you want to get, like, them all together, you know, it's a decent release. Tarantula, again, you can get a better version from Scream Factory, and Incredible Shrinking Man, you can get a better version from Criterion. But for $25 for two films... It's cheaper, it's easier to get them if you just want to get two classic sci-fis, maybe for your grandparents so they can watch something, because we all know old people like watching old movies. I'm one of them. It's just easy to get, and it's just worth it. So I do props Umbrella for at least getting the better scan of Tarantula. It looks fantastic. It sucks the Incredible Shrinking Man isn't the Criterion version, but the Criterion came out like a month after this did, so that really, really sucks. But yeah. For the most part, it's pretty good. Except for the lack of special features. Like, my concern was like, oh, that the bitrate would have a problem and this and that. But, because, you know, putting two films on one disc seems really oof. But I'm pretty sure that this is it's probably a BD25. I don't know. It doesn't stipulate, which is really annoying. I usually like when they actually, stipulate what the disc size is. No, it doesn't, unfortunately. I'm hoping to some degree that this is a BD50, but it's hard to say. I mean, the Tarantula Arrow Video one, sorry, the Tarantula from 101 Films is BD25. I'm pretty sure it says BD50 on Blu-ray.com, but it even says BD25 format on the back of this. Whereas this one says... This does not say... on the back what size the Blu-ray is. My expectation is that they're both BD25s, but at least this one would have more special features. So yeah, it's interesting. Because again, as I was saying, usually you have the concern of if you put multiple films on one disc that you'll like ruin like the bitrate and stuff like that. And maybe to some degree it is, but the megabits per second and whatever... Tarantula still has 35, like an average of 35. I did look at it and I watched it and it was 35 for the most part. Whereas Tarantula was definitely below. It dipped as low as 26. It went up to 47 at one page, a stage, but there were credits on screen, and then it dipped back down to like 25 to 30. So clearly a worse, megabytes per second. But this one clearly was identical to the Scream Factory. That's basically how I knew it was Scream Factory. I'm like, oh, because it's the exact same megabits per second. So the Incredible Shrinking Man just looked identical to the Incredible Shrinking Man. So I Obviously, same transfers. I don't really know if there's that much difference in the very specifics. I'm not huge on looking at bitrate and stuff, but given how this one, that's like, I kind of wanted to know as much difference as possible, and it was very clear visually at least. Like, I really didn't need to look at the megabits per second, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that is bitrate. Obviously, it means I have more of the problem of, shit, what do I do with my Incredible Shrinking Man and Tarantula editions? And personally, I'm probably just going to rid myself of Tarantula one day. Probably just sell it off, even if that includes selling the poster, but, you know, it's not worth that much money. However, the Incredible Shrinking Man, I will definitely at least attempt to resell. But, given it has the special features bonus, I might just try to get the Criterion, and then just watch the Criterion instead, and if I want to watch Tarantula, I go for the Tarantula on this double pack. Saves me at least having to repurchase it for Scream Factory, because I don't really think I need any special features, whether it has special features or not. I have the transfer, it looks great, I don't really need to watch any special features. At least the Incredible Shrinking Man, the special features are more interesting, and focus on Jack Arnold, focus on the style of film, and you know, what the story is and stuff, so it has some correlation with Tarantula. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this anatomy of a Blu-ray, feel free to like, share, and subscribe for more. Occasionally, I'll try doing something different for Anatomy of a Blu-ray rather than just watching a film and giving you the basic specs and stuff, like something like High Def Digest and Bluray.com have, which I look at those myself. In this case, I wanted to be specific about the 3 different versions of these films and to see which one's better and which one's more worth it. So hopefully this helps anyone else who's looking at the 3, especially Australian people looking at the Umbrella release and thinking, what the fuck? But also probably not thinking that, because I don't know if most people would consider looking at Zavvi or Amazon for alternate versions to get. Like, you could easily look at the individual releases and be like, shit, I could get this version of Tarantula, and then look at it and be like, oh god, it looks terrible on screen, what the fuck? So, yeah, don't buy 101 Films, kids, it's not worth it. Arrow Video, though, worth it. And Criterion. And Scream Factory. Goodbye for now. I said that like 3 times, but that's alright. Bye.